Hello, hello.
We're back at it.
Welcome to BitcoinCenter, folks.
Live stream number 17. I'm Cedric Youngelman.
I'm Paul Tarantino.
This is brought to you by Byte Federal. Go bank yourself. It's been a crazy week.
It has been.
Up and down, up and down. I want to read this tweet from Stack Hodler. In 2021, everyone thought 100K was a sure thing. I remember thinking we'd even have a shot at 400K in a blow-off top. I told my wife that we were about to reach a completely different level of wealth because the blow-off top was imminent. Then we topped at 69K and it took me ages to believe it. And yet the signs were there if I had been willing to look. But I wasn't willing to believe it. Instead, I suffered through the bear market because my expectations were completely misaligned with reality. I was mostly blinded by three things: my expectations shaped by experiencing 2017, my own desire to hit my number, and my religious attitude about Bitcoin. Here's what I learned though. Bitcoin behaves just differently enough each cycle to throw off the crowd. Question your assumptions and be suspicious when everyone expects the same thing. Right now, everyone seems to expect a blow off in Q4 that they'll be able to easily sell before the next bear market and then rebuy much lower. In 2021, the meme was diamond hands never selling. Now it's one more pump and then I'm taking chips off. Let's see how that works out. I see two Max Payne scenarios: an early top that disappoints the people who are waiting to sell euphoria, a shallow bear that wrecks people who sell everything expecting to be able to rebuy 80% lower. You need to war game these possibilities and have a plan that allows you to sleep well in all scenarios. The market doesn't care about your desire to sell the top, hit a certain net worth, or ability to buy a home with your gains. I've heard multiple people tell me that their plan to sell MSTR to buy a new home at the top, but that automatically sets a target in your mind. You want to accept a price lower than one that allows you to buy the house. And now your analysis isn't based on reality, but on your own desires and the cost of real estate in your area. In your head, the top can't be in because we haven't hit your number. So you're more likely to round trip your gains rather than protecting the capital you've gained. 2021 taught me to always be grateful for the gains I've made because I know how quickly they can disappear. I still see Bitcoin as a morally superior asset, no debasement or manipulation by central issuers, distributed, globally accessible. But as a father, my loyalty is to my family first and foremost. In 2021, I never even entertained the thought of selling. If I needed to sell today to help my family, I wouldn't hesitate. My job is to provide for and protect my family. I'm a steward of our capital, and I need to make sure they're taken care of in all scenarios. This brings great clarity and makes it easy to prioritize. If you find yourself feeling loyal to Bitcoin above your own family, a higher power, or even your own health, consider that it may lead you to make decisions you end up regretting. Or maybe not, but at least examine it. Don't take this as a bearish tweet. This current dip has wiped out a lot of longs, and there's a good chance it allows us to go much higher this year. But if 4-year cycles are still a thing, then we are close to the end of this one. And maybe one of these lessons will help some of you avoid mistakes I've made in the past.
That's a lot of good wisdom there.
Yeah, I thought that was a really great take
really
on
good.
the moment. And some wisdom, I think.
Yeah, I think you know that if your vision is long-term, life-changing wealth, you have to look beyond a cycle.
Yeah.
Because trying to sell the top and buy the bottom is incredibly difficult unless you're Chris Sullivan or other professional traders. So there is some great power in, I think, being a long-term accumulator of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
At low prices and being patient enough to add.
It's still hard to round trip your unrealized gains.
Sure.
I don't look to swing trade or anything like that.
But what he says is so accurate. It's only hard if you're pricing an exit.
Right. Based on your own wants and desires.
Yes.
And
right.
Yeah.
If your want and desire is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible across your lifetime to change the abundance, wealth, prosperity for your family across multiple generations, then there's an argument to be made that you just always accumulate. But that means being patient,
Right.
and playing the long game, and also doing it in a way that you can maintain your life for your family.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important. I think he points out a very important balance that, especially in this day and age when everybody's attention span is 5 minutes, is a totally different mindset.
Right.
I hope everyone can hear this rain.
Yeah, it sounds pretty epic.
Yeah, Florida rain is for real.
Yeah. I thought there was a lot of good wisdom there.
Yeah,
I appreciate him sharing.
definitely.
The other one I saw was Gladiator tweeted out, "God candles are loading."
Again?
And then Josh Rendell was like, "Just when you thought things couldn't
Gladiator
get any worse, along comes the candle guidance."
It's monthly. I think Gladiator loads those candles.
He's been
monthly.
quiet for a while, but I don't know. We had a little momentum this morning, but I think he killed it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We love you, Gladiator.
I think we're ready to get into it. We got a brand new intro.
Yeah, this
brought to you by
intro's
Neely
fire.
Studio from Francis.
Woo, rain, baby, rain. Let's be real, right? Praising Telegram for launching a Bitcoin wallet. I've always felt like Bukele.
Bitcoin, this digital currency that's out there that people say, oh, it might be the next big thing. What do you think?
I think it's rat poison.
Bitcoins. You never heard of them a few weeks ago? Now everybody's talking about them, but is it a currency?
I don't know. Or is it more like a stock? Or is it a tulip bulb?
Or is
We're
it
going to
just
debate that.
stupid?
To me, it smells like Ponzi scheme and the greater fool theory right now.
You do like 5 minutes of freaking research.
It was me. Oh man, I get that wrong. All right. Bitcoin's recent rally. Do you agree? Is crypto finally dead? Go to the next one.
Matter of fact, they're kind of in the Ethernet. What are they? There's some rumors that it's this Japanese guy, but others say no, that he's a fake name. It was a pseudonym. I mean, you're literally putting real money onto a system that we don't even know who created it.
It will come to a bad ending.
Is this the most exciting bull run ever?
Not for me. No, it's not.
We got Curly here.
Welcome to BitcoinCenter, the fast-paced show where the debate is the start.
Oh, Francis, that was fire. Good job, buddy.
Nice, bro.
Very cool intro. All right, question number 1. Cedric,
Yeah, man.
Powell's dovish pivot. How bullish was the language at Jackson Hole?
I don't think it was that bullish at all.
I agree.
And he was like, things seem to be up a little up, a little down. I'm keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
And I still think the MO is like, we're not going to cut rates until things really get bad.
Yeah, I agree. I've always said the Fed follows the market. So it's just fun. I mean, it's interesting. Captain Chaos is
what I found
twisting
really
nipples at the Fed constantly.
What I found really interesting about it was it seemed like a lot of people were in the know about what he was going to say.
Oh, yeah?
Because markets, it seemed like people were positioned for the swings.
Yeah.
And
they were probably drinking at the bar in Jackson Hole together before.
Yeah. And then we ladder walked it all the way down, whatever the gains were there. So it's not that bullish. The market doesn't see it as that bullish. That's clear. And
it's all about liquidity these days. It's not about interest rates anymore.
But I do think like there was news out of England, the Bank of England, like I think there was some news out of England that it seemed like they were covering for the opportunity maybe to provide liquidity globally for some of our allies.
What do you mean covering?
Like it seemed, I forget what the exact headline was, but it seemed like England or the UK could use a liquidity injection. And so this was signaling, or maybe sort of anticipating that and signaling we might cut because we might need to provide this global liquidity.
That'd be
and help
interesting.
our
I mean, I
allies.
thought that's why we did SOFR, because we didn't want to bail out the world anymore.
But we'll see how
it
goes,
Yeah,
but
interesting.
didn't seem too bullish. All right, the Fed rally is sold. After rallying to 117K, Bitcoin broke below the rally low on Sunday. Does this price action signal shakeout or structural weakness?
I mean, we are only down 10% from the peak. That's
Sure.
Like, wake me up when we're down 30%, right? Like, that's a nothing So structural weakness, I don't think so. Shakeout. I mean, I know I saw the Zero Hedge article where they were making the case that maybe there was a trader who was selling hard to try and trigger some positions that were in the market to maybe buy back lower. Maybe that's the case. I do tend to think that like 10 to 15% swings in the Bitcoin market are trader games. Like you're not really getting significant liquidations until you're down 20, 30, 40, 50%.
Right.
Then I mean, every bear market we've ever slid into, in every cycle that I've participated in, it always started with a 50% decline, a 50 to 60% recovery, and then a bear market. So this doesn't feel structurally weak at all yet.
Right, but it doesn't feel euphoric.
No,
it doesn't feel like there's a large appetite for a bull run now. In my opinion, it does feel bearish.
Yeah,
we're getting some bullish news and bearish price
I think
action.
There's, like what we talked about earlier, right? There's some people think, oh, it's late August. We're near the end of the 4-year cycle, so there's people selling. You have people that like lettuce hands that have stumbled into, for whatever reason, hundreds of coins, and they're never been true Bitcoiners, and they're like, I just gonna have to sell some of this. This is getting ridiculous. I've now made billions of dollars. You've got all the traders that are trying to run option strategies on top of Bitcoin, and so moving it around is making them income. So there's a lot of things moving the market that are no longer about us hodling.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
All right. The ETF outflows mount. Institutional investors dialing back or short-term profit taking?
I think it's short-term profit taking, but it is something to keep an eye on. I think over $1 billion has bled out of the ETFs over the last month, and that's the first time we've seen negative outflows on a monthly basis, I believe, since April. So I think that's some signal there, and something
rebalancing maybe
could be rebalancing. I don't know
how many advisors now, right? How many advisors now that are pro getting their clients some exposure to Bitcoin, do it through the ETF, and then their portfolio management training says we got to rebalance.
Right. Cut our flowers and water our weeds.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're kind of seeing the same thing happen between the Mag 7 and the broad market.
Some people think that this is a rotation into ETH, which is now at all-time highs. That's not going to work
out for you guys, but whatever.
I do think the government is really supporting that market for stable coins. Yeah, I think there is excitement around bullshit crypto, but crypto in quotes, because of that. I think that's what's driving a lot of this price action.
For sure. I'm gonna take a little out of the ETF because I made 100% there, and I'm gonna put it in this IPO, and I'm gonna put some in Coinbase, and I'm gonna put some in this crypto ETF and everything else. Sure. Probably. That's the way they play their games.
Hong Kong to host second largest Bitcoin conference in the world on August 28th and 29th, my birthday. How political is it for Hong Kong to host Bitcoin Asia 2025 in defiance of Beijing's tightening grip?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know that it's defiant. I think, like, Hong Kong is the financial center for Chinese civilians that can get access to it. I don't know, man. I mean, I know there's the trading ban on Bitcoin. I know there's a mining ban on Bitcoin in China. They do have the digital yuan, the ECNY. Their rumors are talking about a yuan stablecoin to compete with the dollar stablecoin.
So wouldn't it be a great time to have a conference there to get the word out before? If the grip would have really tightened, wouldn't you want to make a presence there and communicate with...
Hong Kong's been a crypto haven hub for a long time. So this is, I think it's great.
And they have a lot of independence.
I think what I like about this is it's like, maybe we can generate a little FOMO. Like, come on, US, like, you better move because Hong Kong's not stopping. And Hong Kong's, not far away from China. So you better get your act together here and move faster.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much news this creates or buzz compared to, say, Vegas.
Yeah.
And whether it's sort of mainstream media.
How much do you think, like, U.S. politicians' tune would change if China said we're going all in on Bitcoin? Right?
Yeah, that's a great
Right?
question.
If they're all in on AI, no, we got to have the best AI.
Right.
We need to manufacture, they make our weapons. No, we need to make our own weapons. Oh, we're going all in on Bitcoin. I mean, I think they're panic up in DC.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. Keep going, David.
Yeah, I think they should go and
Good job.
I think it's great.
All right. FinTech, SoFi, will use Bitcoin's Lightning Network. And the question is, is Lightning quietly becoming the default payment rail that FinTechs can't ignore?
I don't think so. If it is, it's really, really quiet, I think. Relai, Julian Linger, the CEO of Relai, just continued Lightning for their customers.
Well, I have an opinion on that, so I'll wait for the question.
Sure.
But I don't think Lightning is dying. I do think Lightning will become a very important payment rail. But there's, like, it takes a company like Strike to just default to moving to the open network. When you're a Wall Street firm, you're trying to replace a bank, you're a neobank, there's a lot of reasons to try and convince investors that you've got some closed network that once everybody's on it, they're trapped.
Right.
Like we're going to generate incredible value because they're all going to be on our network and nobody else's. Over the long term, open networks win.
Right.
Because of the decentralization, because of the network effect, because of the low cost. Strike was brave enough to just go straight there. And I applaud them for that. And I think in the long run, that wins.
Do you think Lightning is going to be sort of at the retail or consumer level where people are running their own Lightning channels?
No, I think it's going to mostly be custodial.
Right.
And I think that there will be companies that we go through a major financial crisis. PayPal's suffering, their stock is down. Everybody's stuff is crumbling, and they don't have the capital to market and push but what's left standing is this open decentralized network that anybody can just log into and use. That will stand the test of time, but adoption is going to be slower because of that very nature, because it's the low cost leader.
Right. I wonder how much changing capital gains taxes would advance the adoption
if there was
of Lightning.
open source Coke,
right?
Would you have Coke and Pepsi? No, you just have generic Coke that every company produced, and it would be like no money in it. But eventually, it's the same quality. Once the volumes are there, once the big nodes are there, and the liquidity, it wins. It's just going to take time.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. All right, let's head over to the lightning round. All right. Harvard's Kenneth Rogoff. I wasn't wrong on Bitcoin. The world was. When a decade-old $100 call ages badly, is shifting blame to really, itself the new academic hedge.
The cope is real, right?
That was some strong cope.
Strong cope. And I think, what people have to realize is all of these academic economists, or economists working at the Fed, or economists working at the BIS, or you name the IMF, you name the organization, right? They're all paid and have all built their wealth and credentials off ignoring reality and just looking at the academic models and then coming up with spin to justify the models. Dr. Werner, the economist who wrote Princes of the Yen, Richard Werner, he went against the whole system, called them all out, and he got shunned. Right. There's no money in speaking truth to power.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that was just all ego for that professor?
No, I think that's his incentive. show me someone's incentive and I'll you know, whatever that saying is.
Yeah, and I'll show you the
But
outcomes.
that's his incentive. Like, he has no incentive to go do a serious, deep dive, realistic, like, analysis of Bitcoin versus any other form of money. His only incentive is to support the dollar system, the economic system, the academic models that got him to where he is.
Right.
To say, for somebody like that to say, oh my God, I was wrong. Everything I've learned was wrong. And we need to go all in on Bitcoin.
And basically said everyone else is wrong.
Career over. So I mean, these guys are never going to agree with us.
That was some serious cope.
Serious code. All right. Trump says he's removing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, citing his administration's allegations of mortgage fraud. Good move for Trump?
I had a good move for Trump. That's a good question. Maybe a good move for Trump, I guess. He wants to lower rates. And I don't even think that this is about lowering rates.
I don't think so either anymore.
I think he wants to destroy the Fed.
Yeah.
And I think that's his job for the New World Order, is to take the Fed down and to just have a massive fight in public and have the country talk about the Fed. And he's bringing up this notion of we're paying ourselves. The money we could save if they would just lower our damn rates.
Right. This is what he does, right? He goes into any system, creates chaos, creates a fight, and out of that drops all this truth and reality that then the public makes the decision. Like, why do we have the Fed? Why are they doing this? Why are they inept? Why
but do you think he's doing it, or do you think someone tapped him on the shoulder and it's like, your job is to destroy the Fed?
No, I think it's totally Trump's personality.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the bringer of chaos. That's who he is. And he creates chaos. And then in that chaos, he restructures things and tries to find opportunities.
And do you think he has a long-term game
plan? No,
plan?
I don't think he does.
Because I mean, you're tinkering with the United States of America.
It's like that New Yorker who was like, "This is a scam,"
and he just
goes after it.
And he's just allowed to.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, so he's,
So he just talks about taking over Canada, Greenland, and you think this is all just him waking up in the morning angry?
No,
chaos.
No,
not angry, but
it's just his personality. He's the bringer of chaos.
Yeah, but I gotta figure there's an agenda being crafted somewhere. It seems cohesive.
I think the agenda is you can't fix anything until it's broken, and he's the master of breaking shit.
Sure.
And so at the end of his term, we'll have a broken system, and we can start rebuilding something better. But nothing's ever going to change until it's broken.
Yeah,
that's the way.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Relay abandons Lightning. Is this justified?
Okay, so if you read up on the thread, what he ends up finally admitting is that it was hard to get customers to use self-custody Lightning.
Yes,
because they had to basically run a node. They had to create Lightning wallets,
and they just want to stack sats.
Now go ahead and look at Cash App and look at Strike, who make it indiscernible to the user. If the user has a small transaction, it goes over Lightning. If they have a big transaction, it's going over main chain. But the user is getting instant settlement, instant Bitcoin, fully custodied. They have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. So in those instances, they're using Lightning to deliver a user experience, and they're having a lot of Lightning usage. So it's purely a problem from how the way they were presenting the usage of Lightning.
But is it custodial Lightning usage here and self-custody on-chain Bitcoin here?
They're two totally different things. But what I'm saying is, and what he admitted in that tweet is, yes, like custodial Lightning was a regulatory challenge for Relay, because as we have had to do at Byte, you have to have MTLs in every state. You'd have to do full KYC AML. You have to do transaction. You have to look at the chain. You have to do all these things to meet the regulators' approval. And if you don't want to do that, then you can't deliver a proper user experience on the Lightning Network.
Right, which was something they were struggling. They were struggling with that.
So I think the takeaway here for Relai is that it was a heavier lift than they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
But it's not a slam against Lightning.
All right, okay, good to know. All right, next one.
When you understand the Bitcoin network, what you can think is that the Bitcoin mining network 10 years ago was very energy intensive and technology poor. Mm-hmm. There's a time when you were just using off-the-shelf chips, and then you were using GPUs, and then you were using ASIC first generation, and then ASIC next generation. So we're like 5 generations into this now. In the early time frame, think about it, you throw probably 1,000 times, if not 1,000,000 times as much energy to generate a hash.
Right.
And now you're throwing 30 megawatts to generate an exahash, but we'll get to the next generation where it'll be 5 megawatts. And then what happens when we get to 1 megawatt? Well, so as you go out, energy is still important, but it turns out that the network is rotating from energy intensive security to technology intensive security.
Right.
Like what if you imagined one day there'll be 10 million mining rigs, but there'll be 7th generation ASICs, and they will be 100 times more efficient than anything we have today. What that means is that 99% of the hash power will come from that generation of mining rigs, which means that all this stuff that we have today becomes 1% of the network, right?
Yeah.
Which means it gets squeezed out of the ecosystem, right? All those miners that are obsolete go out of business. And so that technology intensity has a couple of dynamics. One is that's what keeps the network from consuming all the energy in the world, right? I mean, people say silly things like, oh, well, the energy usage is going to increase with the price. Well, no, it's not. The energy usage maybe will increase with the log of the price. That is, if the price goes up by a factor of 10, energy usage might go up by a factor of 2. And if the price goes up by a factor of 100, energy usage might go up by a factor of 3 or 4. But what you've got is a situation where the halvings are cutting the block reward in half every 4 years. So that's a built-in 5x improvement in efficiency every decade. And then if you crank over that another 10x improvement in hardware, you're talking about a 50 times improvement in tech efficiency in a decade, or 50 times 50 in 20 years. Right? So the price has got to go way.
Interesting.
What do you make of that? I mean, isn't hash rate going up really high? And
yeah, but I mean that's a really interesting take. I guess that's just implementing Moore's law into better and better chip production, which we haven't really. I mean, we've seen improvements. We haven't seen that level of improvement yet in mining rigs, as far as I'm aware. Although I'm not technically qualified to even make that.
But Jack Dorsey's company just released the Proton, I think it's called, the new system.
But from what I understand, there it's
not improving sort of like throughput hash rate, but it's how you deploy the fleet and manage the fleet.
Right. It's improving sort of like the maintenance and operation, but it's not more efficient from what I understand.
Well, it's going to make your usage of the capital more efficient, and you don't have to change out your whole fleet every time you get new technology and stuff.
But so power as currency, right? We've always thought of Bitcoin as energy money, right? And it's going up against the AI race now. So the question is, as AI data centers surge, is Bitcoin mining facing its first true competition for cheap energy? And is that what's going to drive this, push for more efficient chip production?
AI, you mean gonna?
Yeah,
quite possibly. I mean, you would think so, right?
Yeah. You would think so. I don't know.
No, but I think that the AI thing, though, I don't know if AI is going to take as much power as they suspect, but I think AI is the push for nuclear.
Yeah.
And so I think that also is going to change a lot about Bitcoin mining when there's that much more power directed at the network. I think nuclear power is a game changer, and I think that they want to make it politically acceptable. And I think AI is sort of the campaign for that.
Okay. No, I could see that. Yeah.
You know, and then AI also drives down energy. Nuclear drives down energy costs as maybe jobs get sort of dematerialized through AI as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of what I see there in terms of. But I mean, do you think that Bitcoin miners are going to be competing with AI for power? I mean, you would think Bitcoin miners are competing with everyone for power.
I don't know, because I believe, maybe I'm wrong, AI can accept much higher power prices at this point. And Bitcoin miners can really search out that off-grid remote power that's far away from civilization.
Right.
I don't know that AI can do that.
Right. So Bitcoin's always competing for cheaper power,
yes,
and competing with everyone for power.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to where it's cheapest. I think AI has got a different calculation between, yes, cheap is great, but I also need to be near usage.
So
I need to respond quickly, etc.
All right. Let's jump to the next one. IRS crypto chief quits.
Mm-hmm.
What does this resignation actually mean, if anything, for Bitcoin tax enforcement?
I don't think it means anything. She's taken a public sector or private sector job, and going to be advising people on how to pay their crypto taxes, or filing crypto taxes. So I don't think that this really changes anything. I think the 1099D, the digital 1099 for digital assets, I think that's really important. And that's
what is that? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so just like broker dealers have to send you a 1099 for your stock trades.
Sure.
Crypto exchanges this year will have to send you a 1099D, DIV. I don't know the exact letters behind there. I know
transactions with your crypto. With your Bitcoin.
So you've got cost basis, and you get a 1099 report. Now, that's only for these like exchanges where you're doing buying and selling on the exchange. If you've got like a transaction where you're just selling, you might get just a report that says you sold it this,
exactly.
And then you got to still pull them all together.
Right.
So
100%.
I mean, we don't have this like, broker dealer like, oh, we'll just send the cost basis to the other exchange. We don't have that.
Right.
But it's heading in that direction, it seems like.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, let's go to the next one.
El Salvador has officially banned the Edgar haircut in its public schools. The country's new Minister of Education requires each student to have a clean uniform, formal haircut, mandatory greeting of teachers and principal upon entering the school. Do El Salvador's school grooming bans signal creeping authoritarianism? Red flag or nothing burger?
I mean, both. I mean, it's a haircut, but like it does seem authoritarian and creepy. What's weird is I thought that would be the acceptable haircut. I thought that would be the state haircut. It is terrible, but it's very like just I don't know. It's kind of clean, I guess, in some way.
I saw some.
It's like the bowl cut, like Mo.
I saw some remarks that said that like actually that haircut was like the haircut
gang or
of
something.
The gangs. So I could understand that. I mean, this is really no different than going.
So that changes a lot.
It's no different than going to private school, right? Like I went to private school. I had a uniform. I had mandatory dress code. I couldn't have
but I kind of
certain shoes on, etc.
Kind of don't like the idea of centralized dictation on certain things, but that seems to go with the plan in El Salvador is to get all symbolism of gangs out of the culture.
Yes. And my initial reaction was like, this is authoritarian. And then other people said, this does actually kind of level the playing field when you're trying to like elevate a whole country out of, and you have a few haves and a lot of have-nots. If the kids all look the same at school, but I don't know how realistic that is.
Well, at least they didn't say all kids have to get the same haircut.
In Spanish culture, like you just get the kid's name and their entire family history, right? In Latin America. So I don't know, other than
I guess kids just can't pay homage to the gangs with their haircut.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
All right, let's move on.
Probably not the right people to ask.
Record options expiration, 13.8 billion. Could this huge expiration trigger a sudden market move?
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to say? I mean, yes.
When is the test?
Options expiration could be volatile.
Seems like every CME gap gets filled.
Right. I mean, but again, it's just trader games. I don't think it changes the trend. The trend is driven by, and Bitcoin is driven by liquidity and macroeconomics. So I don't think like an options expiration like kills a bull run.
But it does seem like Bitcoin's trading like a meme stock. And
how do you say that?
It just seems like, all longs build up, the market makers just sort of short, just dump on them, vice versa.
It's like a mature market. It's not a meme stock.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just seems like it's not moving on fundamentals. No one's talking about fundamentals or running the numbers.
So what are the Bitcoin fundamentals?
21 million.
Okay.
Scarcity.
Yeah.
The block hasn't, every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
More adoption, opportunities for
like
adoption.
Bitcoin principles and fundamentals.
Sure. Even fundamentals. Though you think about sort of like the executive order around 401ks, and you think like, okay,
that's
more people have access. Sure.
Like Bitcoin fundamentals, I'm thinking is basically global liquidity. What's the cost of money? How much money is in circulation? Is it expanding? Is it contracting? Can you refinance your debt? Like what is the pressure on hedge funds, market makers? What is the pressure on their collateral? Like, do they have the ability to lever their collateral and take more risk?
Right.
Those are, I think, the fundamentals that really drive Bitcoin.
Fair enough. A little too smart for me.
Armstrong's 1 million Bitcoin call. Is Brian Armstrong turning orange or still playing?
He's still playing both sides. He's really good at that.
When Martin
he's
Armstrong.
A long-standing CEO now. It's been interesting that he's lasted this long with Coinbase.
He's like Jeff Bezos Jr.
From founder till now. That's kind of, you gotta give him some credit for that.
No doubt.
I don't like his whole attitude for Bitcoin. I don't think he's been like. I think he's played both sides a lot. I don't like what he does with the site.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, but the guy's been successful. But I'm waiting for Martin Armstrong to say they're going to get.
Who would take over? I would want to see how that would
take over from him.
Yeah,
I'm sure Coinbase. They have to be grooming somebody.
I'd like to know who they're thinking about. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one.
It's your question, big guy.
Banks push Basel to ease Bitcoin rules. What pain points still keep banks from fully embracing Bitcoin?
So these Basel rules are that if you're custodying a Bitcoin, you have to have that Bitcoin value backed in dollars. So full reserve in dollars. And so that's obviously flies in the face of the banking business model.
Right.
So the banks hate this. As a Bitcoiner, I'm kind of like, yeah.
Right. No,
it should be fully reserved.
Right.
If you want to fully reserve it,
but fully reserved
like
dollars?
Custodia Bank or like other custodians that have very strong security and very strong insurance policies and multi-signature mechanisms in place. If you're going to technically secure the Bitcoin, then you don't need to have dollar backing, right? You're just securing the Bitcoin and you got insurance to cover your mistakes. But banks are still working on 1980s technology. So like, I actually agree with the BIS on this. Like these suckers should not be custodying Bitcoin yet. They don't even know how to protect passwords or put 2FA on logins. So they are so unprepared to be playing with Bitcoin technology that I actually agree with the Bank of International Settlements. Good job, guys.
Hey, that's an odd one. There you go. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, the Ukraine bill would let National Bank, I guess the Ukraine National Bank, hold Bitcoin reserves. Is Ukraine formalizing Bitcoin reserves to anchor post-war sovereignty, or to signal alignment with U.S. monetary strategy.
So a lot of this regulation was around the taxation of Bitcoin and crypto in the economy, because I don't think it was legal for you to buy and hold this stuff for a while, and they want you to kind of pay your capital gains tax on it and register. But there was a small part where they're trying to figure out, like, maybe an SBR. They have the 4th largest holdings of Bitcoin of any nation.
It kind of says it all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my tinfoil is tingling up here.
Yeah. Well, what's in your tinfoil?
I mean,
hat?
how much Bitcoin went back and forth between Ukraine and FTX? Quite a bit, right?
Or was it in dollars? I don't know.
I don't know. But if you got a bunch of Bitcoin and you're in Ukraine and you're like, oh man, like, what's going to happen with this war? What's going to happen? Are we, like, whose side are we on? How's this thing all going to play out? Let's make sure we don't lose our Bitcoin. Let's have our Bitcoin held at an institution that's going to survive this wherever we are in the world. I don't know. Like, there may be some ill-gotten Bitcoin out there that they need to be clean.
And you send it to Ukraine?
If you're,
and do you get it back?
Like, do you think that, I don't know, is the Ukraine National Bank like
trustworthy?
Legit?
Right.
Like on the
well, I do smell
scene?
Corruption with all this
I
sort
would
of
just,
trying
it
to
just
figure out where
raises
the
a lot
Bitcoin
of
lands.
flags, right? I don't know. I know not, and this is nothing against Ukrainians. Love you.
But it's also the country with like 4th largest Bitcoin holdings, and it's only like 8 billion or something. It's not
that sure.
It's
probably in the hands of a few people.
Yeah.
A few oligarchs who are like, do I really want to have this stuff held personally? Or do I want to have it held by maybe a national bank that's got the appropriate political ties that it's all going to be good? I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Last one. Size Capital reopens Bitcoin hedge fund after overwhelming demand. Is Richard Byworth emerging as one of the Bitcoin's hottest institutional salesmen after Michael Saylor?
He's really good at talking about Bitcoin. This hedge fund is not like a Bitcoiner fund. This is a fund of funds denominated in Bitcoin. So it's a bunch of crypto strategies, right? It's not like, oh, we're Bitcoin only, right? So having Bitcoin in the name, again, like so many things in the media these days, is irrelevant and not really what's happening under the hood. So fund of funds, multiple Bitcoin strategies, multiple crypto arbitrage, you name it, going on in there. They're targeting high single-digit returns and they're suppressing volatility. So you're a holder. You now have billions of dollars of Bitcoin. Maybe I'll just move some of my Bitcoin into this fund and get a nice 7% return. Just preserve I still have a non-correlated asset. I have multiple diversification across an industry I believe is going to be here for a long time. So I think, valuable product,
right,
for the right people, sure.
For people with low cost basis Bitcoin.
For us plebs, just stack Bitcoin and
cold storage.
Self-custody.
All right, well, hit like and subscribe. Ask any questions you want. This is BitcoinCenter. I'm Cedric Youngelman. This is Paul Tarantino. This is brought to you by Byte Federal. Go bank yourself.
Find a Bitcoin ATM near you. Get on our website. Figure out where they're at. Our wallet is going to be launching soon.
Nice.
So you'll be able to connect your bank account, buy Bitcoin, and it'll be super easy.
Go bank yourself. This is BitcoinCenter. Francis, Q&A.
We do have a little comment.
Exchanges would never, ever trigger their customers to get liquidated. That would be illegal. You think, Rob? Robert Smith sent that in.
Robert, you're such a trusting individual.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't believe the Ukrainian government has Bitcoin. There's an asterisk next to them on the list that says it's how much government officials reported only. Well, you can say that about our gold. That was Robert Schmidt again. That's a good point.
That kind of fits the theory, right?
Thank you for chiming in.
Maybe we don't want people to know who we are. maybe we don't want to have these transactions back to our our internet service provider, where but if it's held at the bank, it's just the banks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're an oligarch, and I don't know, do you trust the bank's gonna give you back even your value?
Maybe you're
depending on how the war goes.
You're one of the private holders.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you're a stakeholder.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Great questions, Robert.
Great question.
Very fair.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
All right.
Cool.
Well,
Thanks for the comments and question, guys. Keep them coming. Keep coming back for future episodes. Thank you for joining.
See you on number 18 next week, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.